Hello everyone, my name is Kid Lee and welcome to another video on Anthem. Here in this video, we're going to be tackling customization, loadout, and gearing. There is a bunch of stuff related to those topics that BioWare has actually not talked about very much. So if you're someone who's been looking at Anthem and you've been questioning whether or not the game is going to be any good, or what sort of detail the game actually has, hopefully I'll be able to answer a bunch of that here in this video. So what you're currently looking at is my Javelin Interceptor. And the first thing you should know is that your loadout, your statted gear, is actually different than your appearance. So you are able to separate those. Also, all the way over here in the upper right corner, the game actually does use a gear score. So you can see, again, that my Interceptor is considered uncommon overall and has a gear score of 119. For the loadout itself, you can see it's split into 5 categories: the assault system, the weapons, components, strike system, and support system. Now, one thing that you might not know about the javelins themselves is you might say, oh, when I'm looking at the Storm or Interceptor or Colossus or Ranger, it could be what you see is what you get, and that is not true at all. All of the javelins can be completely customized to fit your playstyle, and that is actually where the loadouts come into play. As it stands right now, every javelin is allowed 5 different loadouts. So as an example, the Interceptor, which is the melee based of the javelins, you could actually say, okay, here is my melee loadout. Here is my sniper loadout. Here's my support loadout. And you're able to set those up individually and switch between them before or after any mission. So let me go ahead and back out for a second and explain a little bit more about what I'm talking about. So here's the assault system. We're going to go ahead and click into this. And these are actually abilities. And you can both equip and craft abilities. Yes, the game does have a crafting system. Abilities are something that you loot. So when you're out and about doing missions or free play or whatever, you're actually able to loot new abilities. Now, as you can see right here, as an example, Spark Dash, a rare assault system. You can see how much damage it does, how much recharge it does, and then what it actually does. It says the Interceptor gathers strength and charges the target, damaging everything in its path. Then, it also has passive abilities, and everything in this game has passive abilities. Again, your abilities, your components, your weapons, everything has passive abilities. And that goes into your spec. Again, if I wanted to be a melee spec, I would want to make sure that my passive abilities sort of coincide with what I'm trying to do. Now, we're actually seeing a little bit of a bug right here where it says plus 0% damage. That's obviously not a very good passive. 0% Ranger Grenade recharge, and then negative 10% on the shield recovery delay. But as I sort of flip through these, you can kind of see what some of the abilities are and their damage, their recharge, if they do anything special, like this one does ice damage or frost damage, and again, what some of the passives are. So again, these are abilities that you can equip and switch around. So let's go ahead and back out. We're going to go over to strike system, and then we'll do some of the other ones. So again, a strike system is an ability. So here are a bunch of abilities that I can either equip or craft or do whatever I want with. So same basic premise. Support system is, again, ability. Here I only actually have 2, which happen to be the same thing. So that's how you're able to customize the actual abilities of your javelin, again, based on how you want to play. Now, components are a little bit different. You actually have 6 component slots, and you're able to put different things in here. I'm just kind of going to slowly roll through these so you can kind of see what they are and what they do. But these are like, you know, increased ammo, increased shields, increased armor, And again, you'll see that everything actually has a passive ability linked to it. So we'll go ahead and we'll back out. So again, that's sort of the component section. Now let's go to weapons. You're able to hold 2 weapons, and there are a wide variety of weapons in the game. Almost every javelin can use almost every weapon. There's a few exceptions. As an example, the Colossus can really only use the big heavy weapons. But other than that, it's pretty much a free-for-all. So as we just kind of roll through these, you know, here's a sniper rifle, marksman rifle, light machine gun, assault rifle, shotgun, heavy pistols, another marksman rifle, marksman, assault rifle. So, again, I'm going to be repeating this a lot, but it just comes down to how you want to play that character, how you want to play that javelin, and how you want to spec them out. Now, again, if I'm going to go full melee on this one, I'm going to probably use a shotgun or an assault rifle, something that when I'm down in close, I can deal a lot of damage and then get out. And then for maybe a side weapon, if I am kind of far away, I'd want to use maybe a marksman rifle or a pistol, something that can give me some single shot kind of damage. But again, if we scroll back up and take a look at this sniper rifle, you'll see its damage, its RPM, its ammo, its optimal range, and once again, the passives on that sniper rifle. Again, a little bit of bug with the 0% damage, but I'm sure they'll have it fixed for the full version. And again, we'll just kind of loosely get into the crafting system here. I have not done any crafting in the game yet, but you can see here that you can craft items by pressing enter, you know, blah, blah, blah. Blueprints are unlocked by completing marked challenges. So there might be something you don't know. But this is all kind of grayed out right now. It almost looks like a placeholder or whatever. But if we actually click on it here, you can see you can actually craft common, uncommon, rare, and epic. And you can kind of see the crafting resources that you need to do so. So I could actually craft a common if I wanted to, but I don't have the unlock for anything higher than that. So that kind of gives you a rough idea on how the crafting system is going to work. We'll go ahead and back all the way out here. So that is sort of the quick version of the loadouts, the weapon systems, again, how the slotting of abilities works and components. All of that goes into your gear score, again, as you can see sort of in that upper right. So we'll go ahead and jump into appearance. Again, this is your full customization. You have got helmet, chest, arms, legs, paint, animations, wear state, and vinyls. So for the chest, arms, legs, and arms, you basically just click on it, and as you're going through the game, you will actually unlock, you know, different helms, different chests, so forth and so on. Here in this build, I don't really have access to any, except for one. So if I kind of just go back and forth, you can see how it changes the helmet. So you'll have different looks that you'll be able to unlock and swap those around. So that's part of the customization. The next thing we're going to go into is the paint, which I think is probably the big thing that everybody wants to see. And the way that they did this is actually really, really cool. So as you can see here, you have 3 hard points and 3 soft points. And what you're doing is you're actually selecting the material for each of these points. Now, when the game actually launches, there's going to be over 50 different material types. But as I roll through this, we'll just check out some of them. So here's painted clean metallic, engineer, thick, panel, painted old, painted metallic panel, metal age, metal rugged, rubber worn, rubber hardened plastic, metal bare, leather, and so forth and so on. You can kind of see what that is actually doing. So for all of those individual points, again, if we go ahead and back out, these 6 points, you are selecting the material type for those 6 points. Then, once you have the material, you can go into color. So we'll go to secondary hard here real quick. And you actually click on the side here. I've seen a lot of questions about this. This has really been confusing people. So as you see my mouse here, you basically have this big gray area. If you click anywhere in this gray area, it is going to go into the secondary hard point for materials. But if you click on this little thing on the side here, that is where it takes you into colors. Now, if you're somebody who's not too crazy about colors, they are going to have a bunch of pre-selected colors. And it's actually zooming out my javelin when I'm doing that. But as you can see, there's a bunch of pre-selected. But if you want to go crazy, you can actually create your own custom colors. And as you can see here, it has the full color wheel, like something out of Photoshop or something. So this is absolutely fantastic that they would actually add something like this. So if you want, you know, an exact shade of purple, you can actually do that. And then you can save it, and it will save for your entire system here, which is pretty cool. But again, as I'm just sort of rolling through the colors, you can see how the colors are changing on the javelin. If we back out for a second, let's go to primary hard. Oops, sorry. Let's go to the primary card color. And you can see what this is changing versus what it was changing just, you know, a minute ago. So all 6 points are covered pretty well. Let's go to tertiary soft here for a second, so you can see what that's doing. This is basically on this javelin, it's just doing that lower belly area, which is kind of interesting. We'll go to tertiary soft here. I have fine leather right now, so it's basically that point right there. But yeah, if you love customization, you can spend forever messing around with this. It's going to be really, really cool. Next up, let's go up to vinyls. Now, this is going to be something that they're going to have a ton of in the game. So if I go to unlock, you'll see that it actually does a full vinyl pattern for your javelin. Now, one thing that I'm a little unsure about is I could have swore during one of the BioWare live streams when they were showing off this system that you could actually just select like individual pieces for the vinyl to go on. You know, obviously right here it's putting across your entire javelin, but I think you're going to be able to select individual pieces. Again, I could be wrong on that. Maybe it's something they took out, or maybe it's something that's going to be in the final build. We will have to see. But there's going to be just a ton more of these. They're going to be doing a bunch of special ones as well from other BioWare and other EA games. They've already shown off a Mass Effect one, so you can get that N7 logo on your chest, and then you can color scheme it, you know, like black and gray and red with the striping and all that, and you can just go absolutely crazy with it. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll back out of here. And I'll show you the next one, and that is going to be wear state. So the wear state is actually the very, very last thing you'd want to do. So once you get your vinyls on, once you get it all painted, once you get your gear pieces set up, you'll want to come to wear state. And what this does is it's going to apply an overall sort of pattern to the entire javelin. So right now I have it set to new, like it's fresh out of the factory, brand new. I'm actually going to zoom in here just a little bit so you can see this. But here's another one. It's just dirty. Here we have old. Here we have standard. And then here we have clean. So as I roll through these, it's just applying that overall to the entire javelin on what you've done. So that's really, really cool. I think for my interceptor, I always want it to look, you know, brand new out of the factory. But I could see if I do a Colossus, I would want it to look, you know, like dirty and damaged and that kind of thing. So that'd be really, really cool. And I would guess that they're probably going to add more of those down the road. And then finally, we have animations. And I think they kind of took this from Overwatch. But you're able to assign, like, victory poses and different animations and emotes. So if we go into victory poses, again, there's not really a bunch to look at. Let me actually let these animations play out here so you can kind of see them. But just silly little things. It's like air guitar and the fierce snap. That's just ridiculous. Fancy bow. And then the default one is just kind of like, yeah, whatever, right? So we'll get out of that. We'll go into arrival animations. Boom. Doing a stretch. So this animation plays out when you first jump into a mission. That's why it's called the arrival animation. And again, we've got emotes. So we have got the clap. We have a flare. You just got to throw a flare. Got the point. Got the wave. Let's see. We have got a cute bounce. No, that's just wrong. B-boy taunt 1. B-boy taunt 2. And tell it to the hand, of course. I know during one of the Anthem live streams, everybody's like, oh, you got to add a dab. You got to add a dab. So I think they're probably going to add that. And of course, in the final game, there's going to be a bunch more. Here real quick, just to show you something different. Let me go ahead and switch on over to my Ranger, which I've got fully decked out. Just so you guys can see something a little bit different. Why is it not going? Oh, here we go. All right, so here we go. So here is my Ranger. I got, I'm doing this very metallic red look. I think it just looks really cool. And then it's got a little bit of a, and you can spin it around, by the way. Whoops, I just went totally the wrong thing there. You can spin it around. So I got a little bit of a digital camo thing happening too, which is pretty cool with this guy. They need to fix this spin because it's a little bit slow in how this works, but yeah, I love the metallic shine of this guy. It's really, really cool. I keep clicking on metal harden. So you'll actually notice that the color palette can be a little bit different. So if I go back into this, you'll notice that this color palette is actually a little bit different than the other one that I showed off. And it's all based on the material type, which is really cool. The other really neat thing about having really, really shiny stuff on you is the game does an incredible job of doing reflections. So I was walking through a cave with this suit on, and my entire suit, all of the reflective parts went brown or like earth color because I was inside this cave. And I literally walked out, and you could see the change happen on my javelin. It was really, really cool. But I hope that, ladies and gentlemen, gives you a better idea of how this system works. Again, not just the customization, but the loadout and gearing as well. This game really encourages you to do different types of playstyles with each javelin. Again, you can take that interceptor who's mostly melee, and you can make him a pure range guy or a pure support guy or, you know, whatever you want. So you could have a build where it's like, I'm going to dual-wield machine guns. Well, not dual-wield, but have two, you know what I mean? I want to have a heavy and a light machine gun versus I want pistols. I want a sniper rifle and a pistol or a shotgun. And then again, you go into the abilities and you say, all right, so if I'm going to do a melee build, I want to make sure that I have melee abilities or abilities that support a melee build versus a ranged build. So forth and so on. But yeah, like I said, I hope this this helps everybody out and gives you some insight on exactly how this all works. So once again, if you have any questions regarding any of these systems, leave a question down below and I can try and answer that for you. And down the road, I can do some additional videos showing off some other stuff if you need to see something in particular. But that'll go ahead and do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. Everybody keep playing, have fun, and we'll see you next time.